Today on your consulting podcast, we're going to be talking about the 3 ways to grow your consulting business.
'Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
Welcome to the Consulting Business Podcast. My name is Russell Pearson, and this is episode number 1. Can you believe it? Yes, we are starting a new podcast all about you and your consulting business. And today we're going to kick off with the 3 ways that I help individuals grow their consulting businesses. And I guess the first question for those who haven't followed me here from the Marketing Report podcast, the question would be, Russell, who the hell are you? Well, I'm glad you asked. Thank you, dear listener. My name is Russell Pearson. For the last 25 years, I've been working in the spaces of mainly marketing, consulting, sales, and promotion, really. I mean, I came from an advertising background, but I came into the consulting space of an advertising background and really built myself a management consulting business. After years of doing that and then selling the production side of that business, I then went on to actually found a program called The Forge. And The Forge is all around my love for blacksmithing, but not just blacksmithing, helping individuals blacksmith their business, actually heat it up to a critical temperature, reshape it into something new, and create something strong and long-lasting in a consulting business that actually gives them a lifestyle that they love. So my passion is really working with those passionate business people who not only care about their clients, but also care about having a business that they enjoy being in so that they can have a lifestyle they enjoy as well. It's helping shape that, really. So taking something that exists, taking people that have been in their space for a while, then looking at the opportunities because the world has moved, and helping them reshape it into something that's now going to fit the lifestyle that they want at this point in their life. And so today, really what we're talking about is the 3 different ways to grow a business like that. So are we just talking about income? No, we're not. Are we just talking about team members? Definitely not. But we are going to be talking about 3 things in particular. They include clients' profit and time. So if you're wanting to grow more time back for you, your business, your family, the people that you want to spend time with, if you're wanting to grow your profit, if you want to get more money out of the business and then into things that you want to put the money toward. So whether that be in your own assets, your own wealth creation, or whether that's actually using that money to provide opportunities for other people, it's the profit that you take out of that business is going to enable those opportunities to happen. And then there's clients. So clients being not only the thing that provides value and cash flow for the business, but also the opportunity for you as an expert to continue to help those people to grow and shape their own space. So whether that be in business, because you might be serving business people, whether that be individuals, whether it be organizations of whatever size they might be, large corporate organizations, not-for-profit organizations, associations, I don't mind what it is. At the end of the day, if you're a specialist, if you're an expert in what you do, then you are giving advice, you are consulting to others, and this podcast is for you. So let's start today with talking about the 3 things that are going to enable you to grow your consulting business. Look, an old friend of mine, Matt Church, who runs the Thought Leader program and a number of other things. He's just a smart individual. Always talks about the idea of having a practice or a business. So just to give you some framing on that. Really, I don't mind whether you want to have a business, which is the profitable enterprise that runs without you. That's the old Brad Sugar's definition. Or whether it's a practice, that profitable enterprise that runs around you, much like a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist or something of that nature. I don't mind which of those you want. We can build them both. But at the end of the day, I want to basically help those people who love doing what they do or want to love doing what they do even a little bit more. Then, if that is you, you're in the right place. So let's talk about our theme and topic for today, which is growing a consulting business and the 3 ways that I recommend that you do that. And it's going to be very much around the clients, the profit, and the time. And you can absolutely have growth in all 3 of those areas, but we'll talk about one at a time in this instance. So if you have the opportunity to work with more clients, if you want to work with more clients, there are a number of ways to do that. At the end of the day, there's going to be two parts that work to make that happen. Number one is that you have opportunities. In other words, you have a process, a machine that you can turn on to generate more clients. And on the other side, there's going to be capacity. Can you actually support the transformation, the advice, the whatever it is, the outcome that you're providing for those clients? So as long as you have capacity to do the things, and as long as you have a machine to actually bring them in the door, then that's what we're going to be suggesting right now, which is you just turn on the machine. Turn on your client generating machine, and guess what? Clients will spit out. Now, for some of you might not have a client generating machine. If you don't, that's what I do for a living, and that's what the Forge Business Program helps you put into place. So if you're interested in that, definitely reach out and we should have a chat about how you can put that into your business. But in essence, it's understanding that while most of us, because of our experience and our networks, have been getting referrals as a large part of the lifeblood and the cash injection into our business, it's understanding that we can't rely on referrals. They're just more the cream on top. We can't rely on them for our bread and butter for the growth of the business when we want it. We can grow our business certainly through referrals, but then unfortunately it's in the hands of someone else, so it's not self-determining. Which means that we need to create a process to make that happen, where we actually do an action at the top end. People come into our network, they come into our world. We have a process down a little bit further on where we get an opportunity to speak to these people and see if now and how we can even help them. But it's having that process. And there's going to be a lot of things that we talk about over the next 100+ episodes that we're going to be doing of this podcast. But there's two sides to this that I think are incredibly important. It's number one is beyond the trusted advisor. It's understanding that if you don't have a sales process, if you don't have a client generating marketing process in your business, choosing when to grow becomes very, very difficult. You literally are waiting for a handout from someone else who's deciding that now is the right time for you to grow. And we want to make sure that you can actually determine your own success by doing actions and getting results. So growing clients is just those two parts of the mechanism. We have a client generating mechanism, which means we've got an attraction piece that brings people into our world. We have a way to speak to them to see if now is the right time for us to be working together. And that's not a choice. That's us auditioning them really to say, let's see, do they have a problem that we can help with? Do they identify that they have that problem? Are they vocalizing the problem? And is now the right time? Like, is there a priority to be working with this person now? I've seen a lot of people push to sell people into these consulting engagements, and usually that ends in tears. So the suggestion is not to sell people, but to actually find out if now is the right time for us to be working together. And it might be the right time if you're looking to create one of those process machines for yourself, for us to be talking about how we can do that in your business. So we've got that piece, and then obviously we've got to have the capacity too. So are you dealing one-on-one? Are you dealing group work in consulting? Do you have a team that can actually manage these things? There are many different ways and many different business models that can coordinate with the clients that you want to give them the outcomes and results that they want. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you understand what is the lifestyle you want to live, so you understand what sort of work you'll be doing on the day-to-day. So number one is clients. That's one of the ways that we can actually grow. And what I love about growing clients is it gives me more opportunity to help more people. And what's cool about helping smart people like you, consultants, advisors, specialists, is that you are usually there to help other people. So if I help you not only get more of these opportunities, but help you do a better job, then it's going to enable you to actually spread that out into the world, which is, rewarding for me. Okay, so number one's clients. Number two is profit, right? So it's pretty simple. Again, another A-B mechanism. How do we increase prices? How do we decrease costs? Now, in a lot of consulting business, the main cost is going to be your team. So the question is, what is your team makeup? How do you need to create a team in order to fulfill the greatest outcomes for your client. What is the promises that you're making? Sometimes when we look at our team makeup, when we look at our business model, we've just been doing it this same way because it's what we originally learned. But often it's worth going back and actually having a look at the client and saying, where are they at? Where do they want to be? And what is the most efficient, most effective, what is the best way to get them from point A to point B? And it might actually enable you to change up your team process, your team makeup. It may be able to change up and streamline your entire business model. So how do you decrease those costs? That's one of those areas, by actually looking at what it takes to get them the outcome, and maybe we're adding things in there that are filler. Maybe there's things in there we don't need anymore. And how do you increase the cost? Well, number one is to actually focus on outcomes, the actual top of the tree, the end of the strategy type outcomes, rather than just delivery mechanisms. Like they want a thing, but why do they want a thing? What is the thing going to get them? So if we're focusing on outcomes, we're usually able to charge top dollar. And what I like to do, just a rule of thumb, is off the back of some of Weiss's work, is that if you can get them 10 times return or even 20 times return of what they're paying you, then they're going to be more than happy to actually pay that money if they trust and believe that you're going to be able to get that result, and if they're aligned to the way that you go about doing that type of work. So one of the ways that you can increase your profit is obviously to increase your pricing, and to increase your pricing, we want to move away from hourly pricing and actually look at outcome-based pricing, which will enable you to do, hopefully, if you're good at what you do and you're willing to change the design to get a better outcome faster and more effectively and more efficiently, if you're willing to do that, then you'll find far quicker, better, more effective ways to actually achieve an outcome, which is going to get you still higher returns, but with far, far less effort. It's all about leverage in the profit space. So one of the places you can grow is in profit. Now, how do you decrease the costs? How do you increase your pricing or your income? Number 3 is time. Now, this is massive, and it's massive for most consultants I speak to, because one of the things that they are short on is time. And that's one of the reasons I don't talk about growing a business from a scale point of view necessarily, because most consultants I speak to are not all about scale. Now, you might be, and that's cool, and you might have the opportunity to build that team and build it up to multiple levels, and then actually step back and you just watch the team grow it for you. But if you're a person who actually wants to be in the business and actually make it more of a practice where it runs around your expertise, then getting time back becomes far more crucial. And so how do you get that time back? Well, sometimes it's about reducing the clientele and actually increasing the profit. So go back. You want to increase time, see profit, right? So you've increased your prices, which may enable you to actually do less work. If you look at streamlining your business, you actually may spend less time. If you choose which clients which you're going to be easier to work with, get better outcomes, then again, you're going to be able to give your time back. But when it comes to time and when it comes to growing time, there is a little secret. And I say little because it only takes a tiny little step to actually achieve it, but it's massive when you'll actually do it. And I am sure that if you're listening to this podcast, you more than likely have a diary of some sort. Ideally, it's digital in this day and age. If it's not, no, it's no problem. I deal with plenty of people who have got the paper diary. But you've got a diary that you look at on a very regular basis. And really the way to get time back is to go into that diary, section out the time that you want back, and turn that into non-work time. I don't care if you pretend it's an appointment with your most valuable client. Nobody gets into that time, which means suddenly your design process, the way you go about designing the work that you output, the things that you're going to do inside the business, it actually means they need to be done in far less time, which enables you to design for efficiency. And so that's a simple process. For many people, they're going, oh, this is impossible. Well, I'd love you to try it. If you want to get a half a day a week back into your life, then section off an additional half a day a week, and then just not allow anything into that time. That's the challenge. If you can do that, what you'll find is that things will move around and shift and shape, and not much is going to be a problem but suddenly you've got that time available and you're getting more things done in less time. Now, does that mean that you have to do them in less time? Not necessarily, but it's going to be a way for you to consider how they can be done. So suddenly you're doing things that normally take 5 days in 4 days. Suddenly you're delegating better. You're finding other people who can do those things for you. You're realizing what's important and what's not important, and you're moving things to make sure that they fit within the time. So really, the big piece when it comes to getting time back is making that decision and putting it in the diary. So let's just recap today. We've touched on an overview here, and we're going to get deeper into not just these 3 aspects, but all sorts of different aspects of your consulting business that's going to give you a business you love, that's going to give you a lifestyle that you want, right? But 3 of those ways are clients. Number 1, who do we want to be working with? Ideally, potentially even picking a niche is one way, and we will talk about that in future episodes. It's certainly one way to get time back because you can streamline everything about your business. But if you don't have a client-generating machine, a process, a thing that's going to get you those clients, then that's step number 1. You need to have that process because referrals are not going to be enough. If you're wanting to grow your profit, how do we increase our prices? How do we decrease our costs? Now, there are things that are valuable in our business. Usually it's outcomes, but there are also things that are valuable to our clients that we do not even recognize because we are not our clients. And so if we're speaking to our client, a lot of the time we'll say, here's the valuable part, which is a mistake. What we should be asking our clients is, what do you see that's valuable in this, and then understanding the value that it is for them. So we might be pricing something at $10,000, but in their eyes it's worth $100. And you don't know that if you're making that decision for them. So what are the prices that we can actually charge? What are the numbers that we can say? And we'll be talking far more about that as we go. But increase your prices. That would be my suggestion. Decrease your costs. That's how you do it. That's how you increase your profit. It's a little simple. And then time. How do you get time back? Well, you make time back. All right, so you put it into your diary, you declare that it is sacred, you don't go after it. It is an appointment with your most valuable client, which is true because your most invaluable client is your business. Without your business, you're not serving anyone. All right, so you build that time in, and then suddenly the world moves around it. It's like putting a rock in a puddle. The things will move around it. It doesn't seep into the rock, right? So that's how we get it back. We get our growth in our clients from the system. We get our growth in our profit from our prices and our value that we provide, while actually reducing and streamlining the costs in our and the fat in our business. And we get our time back by deciding that, number 1, we want it. Number 2, we actually take it back, and we allow all the other things to go around it. These are just 3 simple, very simple ways to grow your consulting business. We're going to be talking far more about this in podcast episodes in the future. But this is episode number 1, and starting with episode number 1, I want to make sure that you're aware of the consultingbusinesspodcast.com website, which is where you can find more episodes from this podcast. You can also find resources that we make available on a regular basis, and they're resources that are for you as a consultant, but also your consulting business. So go and check out consultingbusinesspodcast.com. You'll find the resources you can download there. You'll find more stuff probably about me, but over time, things are going to change, but it's always going to be useful as a resource. There'll be new things there regularly for you and your consulting business. Until next time. My name's been Russell Pearson. It hasn't changed since the start of the podcast. It's not going to change after the podcast. And I said, I've been Russell Pearson. Yes, I am Russell Pearson. And it is a pleasure to meet you if we've never met. It's a pleasure to speak to you and be in your ears if I've never done that before. If you haven't actually seen the stuff I've done in the past, there's the Awesome Show podcast from years ago. There's the Marketing Report podcast, which went for a number of years. And now we've moved into that consulting space. Really, because that's the area I'm passionate about. It's about helping people like you, super smart people who are consulting, advising, they're specialists in their areas. They're looking to help other people. They're passionate about their business. They're passionate about their clients. They are looking to actually build a lifestyle that they love. If that's you, come on back. I would love to talk to you more. Stay passionate, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us on your Consulting Business podcast. Make sure to click the subscribe button for future updates, and also make sure to go to consultingbusinesspodcast.com for goodies made especially for you by yours truly. I will see you on the site.